Greetings, thoughtful viewers. On today's Models of Success, we pay tribute to Mr. Steve Jobs, Apple Inc. co-founder and CEO. He had not only changed the face of technology several times over, he also created revolutions in the film, telephone, retail, and music industries. He once said, "Being the richest man in the cemetery doesn't matter to me. Going to bed at night saying we've done something wonderful, that's what matters to me." Steve Jobs was born on February 24, 1955 in San Francisco, California, USA, and was put up for adoption. He was adopted by working-class parents Paul and Clara Jobs, who promised his birth mother that they would send him to college. The little boy was a prankster and did not care for school until he met his fourth-grade teacher. Imogen Teddy Hill motivated Steve so much that his test results were good enough for him to skip 5th grade and go to Crittenden Middle School. When he was 11 years old, his family moved to Los Altos, situated in Silicon Valley, home to engineers, inventors, and technology. Steve's new home sparked his interest in electronics. His father introduced him to Heathkits, which are electronic kits. Steve Jobs later recalled,
"It gave one an understanding of what was inside a finished product and how it worked because it would include a theory of operation. But maybe even more importantly, it gave one the sense that one could build the things that one saw around oneself in the universe."
In 1969, Steve's friend introduced him to 21-year-old Stephen Wozniak, who everyone called Woz. The two became fast friends and in 1972 began their first entrepreneurial venture. After graduating in 1973, Steve decided to go to Reed College, but he was disheartened when he saw that it would cost his parents their life savings. When he was 17 years old, Steve had read a quote that said, "If you live each day as if it were your last, someday you will most certainly be right." It made a great impression on him, and after several months of college, he made the decision to drop out. He started taking classes that he was interested in, and those classes taught him things he utilized throughout his career. Courses in calligraphy taught him about spacing and fonts. This was very useful in designing the interfaces at Apple and in all of his product design. As a balance to his love of science, Steve became interested in Eastern mysticism and even traveled to India on a pilgrimage. He began to fast for long periods, a practice that he would maintain even after he became an accomplished multimillionaire. During these years of exploration and personal growth, he also became a fruitarian for a period of time. Eventually, he came to adopt Buddhism. His approach to life and his work, as well as his future designs, could be attributed to the Zen principles of focusing and simplicity. In 1974, Steve Jobs took a position as a video game designer with Atari. He was impressed by its founder, Nolan Bushnell, who became successful through his unconventional ways, such as building pinball machines. This would also be an inspiration in Steve Jobs' founding of Apple. It was at the young age of 21 in 1976 that Steve Jobs sold his Volkswagen bus and Steve Wozniak sold his precious scientific calculator to start Apple Computers in the Jobs family garage. Steve Jobs is most easily recognized as the co-creator of the personal computer. His concept was a home computer that would come out of the box completely assembled and ready to use. The Apple II was released in 1977 and single-handedly created the home computer market. It was followed by the Macintosh, the first computer to have a graphical user interface. Steve Jobs left Apple in 1986 and acquired the computer animation film studio Graphics Group, which was later renamed Pixar. Pixar's first feature film was Toy Story, released in 1995. It was the first movie made entirely in computer-generated imagery, or CGI. The production was an enormous success and was the highest-grossing film that year. Over time, Pixar proceeded to produce 12 feature films, all of which are among the 50 highest-grossing films of all time. The films have all been nominated and 6 have received Oscars: Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Ratatouille, Wall-E, Up, and Toy Story 3. Pixar has received a total of 26 Academy Awards, 7 Golden Globes, and 3 Grammy Awards. The heartwarming movies made by Pixar often include animal heroes, of whom People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA, said Mr. Jobs' largely plant-based diet and respect for animals may have had a role in creating these wonderful characters. In 2006, Pixar was purchased by the Walt Disney Company for $7.4 billion US. The deal made Steve Jobs the largest Disney shareholder. Aside from his care for animals, Steve Jobs also showed his concern for the environment. In 2009, Apple left the U.S. Chamber of Commerce because of the Chamber's stance that climate change did not exist. Apple wrote,
Apple is committed to protecting the environment and the communities in which we operate around the world. We have undertaken this unilaterally and without government mandate because we believe it is the right thing to do.
Steve Jobs returned to Apple in 1996, becoming CEO in 1997, introducing the iMac not long after. The iMac design was innovative. The monitor and the computer were enclosed in one colorful, translucent unit. It was also technologically pioneering, requiring new users to go through only 2 steps to connect to the internet. This was the first appearance of the I naming convention as well, which Apple said stood for both Internet and individual. Forbes magazine described the original candy-colored line of iMac computers as being an industry-altering success. By January 2001, Mr. Jobs had another revolution ready, this time in the music industry. Apple introduced iTunes, a program used for organizing, downloading, and playing music and video files. This innovation led the way to the iPod portable music player, which was introduced in November 2001. The iPod was described as having 1,000 songs in your pocket. The design included the signature iPod click wheel, which provides a simple and clean user interface. But the real innovation in the music industry happened in 2003 when Apple opened the iTunes Store, an online digital media store. The pricing model, product delivery, and track availability were all completely new to the music industry. The store charged the same price for each song, which was delivered digitally to the customer's iPod. 1 million songs were purchased in the first 5 days. 100 million were sold in less than a year. In February 2010, the 10 billionth song was downloaded. The iTunes Store currently carries over 18 million songs for sale. Movies, games, and books are also available for download. In a move that no one expected to succeed at the time, Steve Jobs introduced Apple's first retail store in 2001. Minimalist and white with simple wood floors and tables, the stores feature Apple products prominently. In 2005, Mr. Jobs began sending the company in the direction of its most revolutionary product yet. Introduced in 2007, the iPhone was undoubtedly a revolution in telephones, computers, product design, internet accessibility, and so much more. Its sleek design, virtual keyboard, and touchscreen made it an immediate phenomenon. It was essentially a pocket computer providing phone service, internet connectivity, and a portable media player in one package. Under Mr. Jobs' vision, Apple went on to create newer versions of the iPhone, each with its own innovations. The most recent iPhone is the 4S, introduced on October 4, 2011. It features Siri, a personal assistant for your iPhone.
Is it going to be chilly in San Francisco this weekend?
Not too cold. Maybe down to 61 degrees in San Francisco.
What about Napa Valley?
In 2003, Steve Jobs was diagnosed with cancer. As a Buddhist, he was at peace with his condition. It allowed him to cherish his role as a caring husband and father of 4.
That was one of the things that came out most clearly from this whole experience with cancer. I realized that I love my life. I really do. I've got the greatest family in the world, and I've got my work, and that's pretty much all I do. I don't socialize much or go to conferences. I love my family, and I love running Apple, and I love Pixar, and I get to do that. I'm very lucky.
The day after the latest iPhone was unveiled, Steve Jobs passed away of metastasized pancreatic cancer at the age of 56. He departed peacefully, surrounded by his beloved wife of 20 years, Lorene, and 4 children. Steve Jobs had once said,
"We all have a short period of time on this earth. We probably only have the opportunity to do a few things really great and do them well. None of us has any idea how long we're going to be here, nor do I. But my feeling is I've got to accomplish a lot of these things while I'm young."
Steve Jobs left this world with a $7 billion fortune and a string of awards and astonishing successes behind him. As of October 9, 2011, he was listed as either primary inventor or co-inventor in 342 U.S. patents or patent applications. At the core of Steve Jobs' success were some basic values. He believed in doing what was right and doing it with passion. His genius changed the world we live in through his inventions and machines, but his love and humanity is ever apparent in all the technology. Gracious viewers, thank you for joining us for today's Models of Success. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television for Vegetarianism, the Noble Way of Living, coming up next after Noteworthy News. May you be blessed with ever more peace and fulfillment.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/MOS.